can't take your place.
No, I can't.
That's easy for us to sit here and say that, right? Somehow work that into your article about this meeting, just slip it in there. See if she reads your article. She doesn't. So she won't say that again.
I guess this is just a yes, yes. Okay, so you were saying that when we reorganize, that I should just shut up and go.
Greenville City Council will come to order. Please call the roll.
Godwin.
Here.
Norris.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
White.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Ely.
Here.
If I could get everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Evening, everyone. City Council members, you were emailed out the minutes. If there are no addition or corrections, they will stand approved as read. Approval of the agenda. There is one need on number 7 under the description. Under office supplies, it should read office supplies police for the 2,500 opioid settlement as the only change required.
Mr. President, I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to approve the agenda as amended. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to public hearing. Anyone would like to come up to the podium and speak? Now is your time.
Good evening. Timothy Gilbert, 730 Birchwood. I'd like to thank you for the opportunities that we get to voice our complaints. Some of our fellow citizens aggregate these concerns. And so I'm around different parts of town and get to see some different things. So as a person who worked the staging area for the horse parade, I don't really speak as a representative for those organizations, but just as a citizen. And my surprise at being instructed to avoid the parking lot on Martin Street where we had parked in the past, the subway lot, but for some reason, they parked the lighted horse parade, truck parade people there and the combines and stuff. And then, of course, a lot of visitors had a chance to park there as well, which was really kind of cool to have extra parking that they didn't have to walk so far to get to the tree. But the horse people ended up on Gray Street and the surrounding area there, which really frustrated a lot of residents out there. And thanks to the police department, we were able to get a lot of that cleared out and give them some alternatives to parking near their homes or whatever they were doing that day. But the horse trailers and semis hauling the horses were having a little bit of a problem negotiating those streets. So I was wondering kind of why they were using that. In addition, some of the trailers are tall enough, and including the semis, that hit the tree branches and things that are intruding on the parkway there. And there were a lot of leaves on there for the horses to kind of skid on. So I was wondering if maybe that could be taken into consideration for next year so that the people could be a little safer. There's some substantial loads in those trailers at times. So I was wondering if the streets are kind of certified for that kind of weight and that wouldn't damage the streets and things for the future iterations of the lighted horse parade. We gave alternate directions for people who were going places in the city, and Gray Street, for some reason, seemed to be a conduit to get to St. Mary's Church, Eikenberry's, and the BRE, which mystified me, but we tried to direct people around the horses, and a lot of the horses were in the middle of the streets and things like that, so it was interesting to see that as well. Tried not to be run over by the impatient people, because some of them weren't really wanting to stop for us and try to be directed in a safe manner to the different places that they had to go. I thought of reasons why the lot would not be available this year when they said the street sweepers were not run up Broadway before the tree lighting, and I figured if used for the horses, maybe they can run the sweeper around that lot to get it cleaned off for the future after they're done. I know a shovel doesn't get everything it needs to after those horses have been doing their thing out there. So is that the new place they're going to station the horses for the parade, or are they going to try to do something better than they did last time? There are a lot of places here in town that, as I go around town in my golf cart and different things, there's a lot of places in town that have branches hanging over the streets. Doesn't impact me, but bigger trucks, delivery trucks, and the occasional semi like we had at the horse parade could be damaging to the trees or the trucks and utility vehicles that they have to do. So maybe they can start working on that, but of course that's a full-time job in the city, I know. So I don't know if that's code enforcement or a great street department that we have or anything like that. So a lot of stop signs, and there's been some new stop signs as I've gone up down 3rd, 4th, and 5th Street, going downtown, that have new stop signs out there, and a lot of those are occluded by bushes or branches as well. And so I wondered if there's a plan to get that kind of stuff taken care of. Most recently, I received a funny little letter from AES telling me that somebody has requested a change in my electrical supplier, and normally happens when the city renews or changes the plan that we aggregate for. And so I went to the city website, and they show Energy Harbor as our aggregate supplier. So I tried to call Dynegy Energy, that apparently had a phone number on there, and also Energy Harbor. Oddly enough, they have the same exact phone tree that you get through to get to somebody, and neither of them really knew much. But then AES, after wasting a couple of hours on that, I finally got through to them. They kindly explained to me that Dynegy Energy has purchased Egg Harbor, and I assume you folks already know this, maybe for months, but on the city website, it's not put up that way, because on their aggregation web, or on the aggregation page for the city of Greenville, it says Energy Harbor. So I'm wondering if the web guys could update this, or you guys have to pass them that, or whatever like that. So, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it.
You, Mr. Delk or Mayor, you want to answer or address any of these?
Yeah, if you'd like me to.
Yeah, if you would.
Absolutely.
Start with the horse parade. So the reason that we didn't park in the Marsh Low Bills lot, the owners of that facility were concerned. They put a lot of funds into the parking lot itself. And just as you're concerned with the streets, they were concerned with the horses and the weight of the vehicles doing damage to their lot. And so that's why the lighted truck and tractor parade was staged there, and the horses were staged in the street area. It gets tough when you don't have a large parking lot to use, and then you want to keep everyone safe and within the zone of the detour. So that was the best option that we came up with at the time. We've talked about it internally, and obviously it didn't go as smooth as it has in the past when you were able to use the parking lot. So we'll do a post plan, and then next year when we start to plan, we'll be better prepared for that on the horse parade portion. Absolutely. On the trees most are owned by the homeowner, so we probably send a couple of tree letters out a week out of our office, asking people to trim them and giving them time to trim them. So that's kind of a work in progress, but as you are aware, it takes a lot of time and people to get contractors in to do the work, and finances get in the way sometimes as well. And then on the website, I'll check into getting that changed. I know we changed it at one spot, but maybe there's another spot that we missed that needs a change. But Dynegy is now our new supplier, effective December 1st. Correct.
Just one comment on the Marsh lot. So the lighted trucks were there, but there was, maybe next year we can allow parking there also. So maybe we can stage part of it just for the lighted trucks and then allow public parking. Because that was a complaint that I had heard, which we're fine with allowing vehicles to park there.
Sir, that happened anyway. People saw the space and they just started usurping it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it worked
So-
out really well.
but just a food for thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Anyone else? No, nothing?
Wow. Merry Christmas to
I
you.
have something, but I'm checking on it first before.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to administration report, Mr. Mayor.
First of all, I want to, being absent last meeting, I want to take the time to thank the street department and the hard work they've done in providing the extraordinary Christmas decorations and lighting downtown. And also, I want to make mention of the success, I think, of the horse parade and the lighted vehicle parade. There was a lot of attendance. It was a beautiful evening. It was a little chilly, but we had a great Christmas tree lighting, and I just want to thank everybody who put forth an effort in making that a success. And with that, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving on to Safety Service Director, Mr. Delk.
Thank you, Mr. President. A few things for the evening. The first thing, we were notified by CenterPoint Energy that they're going to be conducting, and they're regulated by the Department of Transportation, to conduct leak surveys on all piping, including underground main services and exposed piping up to the outlet of the gas meter. CenterPoint has contracted with Heath Consultants Technician. These people will have a visible picture ID and be in a company uniform and have a CenterPoint Energy contact phone number that the customer can call for verification. Heath technicians do use their personal vehicles, so the community should not be alarmed if they don't see a CenterPoint Energy vehicle. The inspection inside will take about 5 minutes. So they're going to start that process so everyone's aware. A few things for the night, and I will, if I miss anything, I will gladly answer any questions, but there's a lot of legislation there. Kind of the big ones I wanted to hit on were item number 3, the WPCLF loan. That's for our wastewater solid handling facility. So we've been working with our consultant on this. So as of now, if this resolution gets passed tonight, we submit this to the EPA, and then they get back with us and award in March. So in March is when they take a 90-day average of what the interest rate is, and then that's what our interest rate gets locked in at. But that doesn't happen till March. Like right now, as of today, the interest rate on a 20-year loan is 2.59%, and the interest rate on a 30-year loan is 2.84%. That could change, go up or down in March, just so everyone's aware. But until we sign the loan documents in March, we are not obligated to anything. So basically, at this point, we have the contract out for bids right now. So once we get the bids back and we actually have a solid number that we can use to plug in for the actual loan amount, and we can make that loan amount basically whatever we want. And depending on our finances and what interest rates are and what the bids are, we'll adjust that accordingly. Some new information is, one, you cannot pay the loan off early. So whatever you decide on the front end, if it's a 15, 20, 25, 30-year loan, you are stuck to that. The other part of this is, if you go down to item 13, which is a contract that I'm asking for approval on. So that contract is with Jones and Henry, which is our engineering firm that designed the solids handling facility. And that contract is, the large part of it is for oversight during the project. So it's a 2-year project. There's a lot of technical items. The biggest thing is we have to keep our wastewater plant open and operational the entire time during construction. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts, and a lot of that funding is an actual engineer on site most of the time, and then working through any issues that we have. Once we start digging in a plant that was built in the 1930s, it's hard to say what kind of pipes and underground structures that we will find. We feel like we've looked at enough of old mapping and have everything located, and we did some test digging to see if those maps were accurate, and they all seem to be fairly accurate, but in this field, it doesn't always go that smooth. So that's for, there's a lot of contingency funds in there. Meeting with the administration and Mr. Sturgill, who is our wastewater superintendent, we personally feel that we are better off to do a 30-year loan versus a 20-year loan. So just today's numbers, worst case scenario, we would be looking at borrowing $18,280,183.60. If you did that in a 20-year loan, your annual payment would be $1,176,860.34. If you did that in a 30-year loan, your payment would be $909,405.81. Now, the most important reason that we feel the 30-year loan is better is because when we start to get to that 1.2 million, let's call it number, it really starts to get tight on the budget, and we're afraid if we would have some sort of a catastrophic failure and we wouldn't be able to do other projects along the way, and 30 years is a long time. For example, we have 18 lift stations around the community. At the high end, the last estimate we got was like our Jaysville lift station is a very large lift station that would cost a substantial amount of money to totally rebuild. And that's about $4 million. I would say the average price to rebuild one of those lift stations is probably $1 million. So you have all 18 of those, then plus you have the plant. And the solids handling and administration building portion of it is addressing a lot, but there's still clarifiers, there's still wells, there's still pumps, there's other items that are going to need to be maintenance and upgraded throughout the year. And then if you figure in a 3% inflation rate based on that 20-year versus 30-year, and right now we're receiving around 5% return on our investments, we feel that the better option would be to go to the 30-year loan. Questions, comments, concerns on that one?
The two rates that you mentioned for the 20-year and the 30-year that are existing, is that on existing loans that are in place or what they're offering right now?
That's just what the EPA's interest rate is right now. So these.
On new loans?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So, for an example, right now, a market rate 30-year loan is 4.14%.
Yeah, that's,
But the EPA, they want to incentivize you to rebuild your plants and do maintenance, so they give us a
thank you.
lower interest rate.
There's really not that much of a difference in the rate. That's the big point.
right. Just under interest.
The second item is the Verdantis contract, which is our consultant for our closed landfill,
What number is that, Ryan?
number 12.
Number 12?
So that's also before you. So that's for our 2025. So basically, they're a consulting firm. They help. We have a lot of gas testing and gas mitigation at our landfill. And right now, we have a lot of water and well sampling in that area. I just met with them last week. We spent a few hours out there. So we're at our 30-year post-closure for our landfill. In the 90s, I think, when we closed our landfill, I think EPA said, you guys will have to deal with this for 20 years and then you're going to be great. Well, every year it gets extended a little bit. So year to date, this year's proposal for 2024 was right around $75,000. Year to date, I just looked, we spent $47,000 out there at the landfill with Verdantis on these. So there's EPA reports, there's monthly gas monitoring we have to do, there's monthly well testing we have to do on the water table, cap inspections, you name it. There's a lot that goes into the closed landfill that's not used any longer. We are in the 2025 cycle, and that's what we met last week. So the EPA is starting to ease their restrictions on a 30-year post-closure landfill where they will either reduce or totally remove your water sampling, which is huge. It computes to about $15,000 of that a year. So over this next year, that's what we're going to work really hard to get the EPA to ease up on those restrictions. The gas will probably, unfortunately, stick around for a while because there's still trash, garbage underneath the landfill, and it still creates the methane gas. And our landfill has some problems with gas migrating off of our land and on other people's land. So we have wells and vents in place to keep it on to ours. But there's just a lot of testing and a lot of off-site testing that we're still going to have to do for probably a number of years. But other than that, I will answer any questions on legislation, but I just wanted to clarify.
What was the name of the contractors again for gas?
Oh, yes. Heath Technicians.
Heat.
Heath, Heath Consultants Technician.
Thank you.
Is that all you got?
That's it. I pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Delk. Law Director, Mr. Reaman.
There's no new updates from me this evening. I'll answer any questions about legislation, but I'll let Jessica get to her reading here in a minute.
Any questions for Law Director? All right, City Auditor, Ms. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did have our committee of the whole. Everyone had received the month-end November reports from the finance office, from my office, so those have been distributed. Other than that, I don't have anything further. If anyone has any questions on this legislation, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year.
Yep, I apologize, I couldn't make that meeting. I had
That's okay.
a basketball game that was not on the schedule. All right, moving on to committee reports, we have none. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions, we have 17. First is resolution entering the contract with Lake County Sewer.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Lake County Sewer Co. Inc. for the rendering of manhole rehabilitation. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Lake County Sewer for the rendering of manhole rehabilitation.
Move to suspend the rules, give this third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Just the third.
Just third
Or
reading.
just third, I'm sorry, third reading. Discussion. Anyone want to make a motion on that? I guess I should have said discussion.
There's already a motion.
He made the motion.
Well, you got the motion? Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Lake County Sewer Co. Inc. for the rendering of manhole rehabilitation.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Brown to adopt. Discussion.
Just a question, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, we've used these people before.
Yes.
And where it says, not required to be authorized by the council and not required to be competitively bid and showing a start, it's already in place, right?
So it's not required to be competitively bid because it's under the $75,000 threshold.
Okay.
The council one, I'm confused on. You said it's not.
Well, the first recital says the contract was not required to be authorized by the city council for the city of Greenville and not required to be competitively bid. I'm just trying to understand what those,
Yeah, if anything, it's because of the amounts of the contract, and even with that, with projects that we think are of significance, even if there's not a requirement, we still bring them to council to get your blessing.
I just,
Yeah.
as it was written, I'd not seen one written like that before. Second question on that same part, and it applies to this one and the next one. It says like a start date of 12/4 and a completion date of February 4, but a 90-day contract. It's a 90-day contract with 60 days to complete.
Right, and so it's their standard terms of 90 days. Technically, they could go outside of it, but it's within that window.
Okay, done, thank you.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to number 2, a resolution to enter in contract with Lake County Sewer for chimney sealing.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Lake County Sewer Co. Inc. for the rendering of chimney sealing. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Lake County Sewer for the rendering of chimney sealing.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules and give this resolution third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Lake County Sewer Co. Inc. for the rendering of chimney sealing.
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to adopt this resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 3, a resolution applying for WPCLF agreement.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to apply for, accept, and enter into a water pollution control loan fund agreement on behalf of the City of Greenville, Ohio for planning, design, and/or construction of wastewater facilities and designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to apply for a water pollution control loan fund agreement with the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency and the Ohio Development Authority for the planning, design, and/or construction of wastewater facilities in Greenville.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution a third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules, give this resolution third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to apply for, accept, and enter into a water pollution control loan fund agreement on behalf of the City of Greenville, Ohio for planning, design, and/or construction of wastewater facilities and designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Just one question.
Yes, sir.
This will come back after the bids are completed. It will come back for a financial approval.
Correct.
It's 2 steps, okay?
Yep. This is the nomination portion?
I assumed that, okay, just want to make sure.
Probably 3 steps, because you still have to approve the bid, and then if there's no bids, then you still approve the loan part.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Seely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 4, a ordinance amending rates and ordinances related to water and sewer fees.
An ordinance amending certain rates and ordinances relating to water and sewer fees and utilities billing. This ordinance increases water and sewer rates for the city of Greenville by 3% effective March 1st, 2025. Additionally, the shut-off fee will be increased from $20 to $50. This increase will add approximately $1.54 to each monthly bill.
Move to suspend the rules and give this third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules and give this ordinance third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Seely.
Yes.
An ordinance amending certain rates and ordinances relating to water and sewer fees and utilities billing.
Move to adopt. Moved by Mr. Norris to adopt. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Seely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 5, a resolution authorizing a then and now certificate for Layfeld welding.
A resolution authorizing a then and now certificate for Layfeld Industrial and Welding. This resolution authorizes a then and now certificate for the Layfeld Industrial and Welding invoice in the amount of $2,182.10.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules and give this resolution third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing a then and now certificate for Layfeld Industrial and Welding.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
Mr. President, just for clarification, what is a then and now, what's officially a then and now certificate?
So,
Certificate.
when we went through the audit process this year, any purchase order that needs to be entered for an emergency purchase, if it's within a certain amount, $1,000, then if we can approve, like, they need to get the emergency purchase, but they maybe don't get the purchase order entered prior to the purchase, we can I certify that the money is available, and then council certifies that they recognize that we had to enter the purchase order after the purchase. So that's what that's for.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
And that is something that is very few far between, and
I mean, we went all year and we have 2.
yeah.
And the other one's just due to the increase in the insurance coverage. We had entered a purchase order, encumbered the money, but the insurance coverage was larger, the premium was larger than what we had anticipated due to the cybersecurity insurance coverage, so.
Any other discussion?
Thank you.
Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Seely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 6, a resolution authorizing a then and now certificate for Littman Thomas.
A resolution authorizing a then and now certificate for Littman Thomas Agency. This resolution authorizes a then and now certificate for the Littman Thomas Agency invoice in the amount of $14,975.33.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules and give this resolution the third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Abstained.
I'll accept that.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Seely.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing a then and now certificate for Littman Thomas Agency.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Brown to adopt this resolution. Discussion. Same thing, Kim, as the other one, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Abstained.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Seely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 7, a supplemental ordinance, and this was also given the first reading.
An An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. The supplemental ordinance allows for appropriations in the general fund in the sum as follows. Office supplies treasurer in the amount of $375. These funds are needed for the 2025 bond renewal for the city treasurer. Office supplies police in the amount of $2,500. These funds were donated by Zecker Bailey Funeral Home for the Shop the Cop event. New equipment, fire in the amount of $15,044.60. These funds were a donation from the Ohio BWC Safety Intervention Grant and will be used to purchase new extrication equipment.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules and give this ordinance third reading. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Brown to adopt. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 8, a transfer ordinance, and this was also first reading.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville. This transfer ordinance authorizes transfers in the general fund and healthcare fund in the sum as follows. $6,740 from uniform allowance police to office supplies police. These funds are needed to cover an unemployment claim for a previous employee. $2,900 from stop loss healthcare to RX Claims Healthcare. These funds are needed to cover admin fees until the end of 2024.
Move to suspend the rules, give this third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules and give this ordinance third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville.
Move to adopt this ordinance.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to adopt this ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 9, a supplemental ordinance.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. The supplemental ordinance allows for appropriations in the general fund and street fund in the sum as follows. Salaries elected officials in the amount of $100. These funds are needed for salaries for the remainder of the year. Salaries council in the amount of $1,150. These funds are needed for salaries for the remainder of the year. New lights, signs, traffic control in the amount of $5,000. These funds are needed to replace the traffic light controller at 4th and South Broadway.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance a second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules and give this second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 10, a transfer ordinance.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville. This transfer ordinance authorizes transfers in the general fund and pool fund in the sum as follows. $3,000 from new equipment fire to office supplies fire and $3,000 from other supplies fire to office supplies fire. These transfers are needed for the purchase/replacement of tablets and the fire apparatus. $9,000 from equipment maintenance, swimming pool to new equipment swimming pool. This transfer is needed to install a new water service at the pool due to the demolition of the school stadium.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance a second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend rules and give this ordinance second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville. An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville.
Move to adopt. Moved by Mr. Norris to adopt the ordinance. Discussion.
Chief, what tablets are we going to?
If you could come up to the podium.
What tablets?
Microsoft Surfaces.
Oh, all right. He answered for you.
What's the question, sir?
I had asked you about the tablets. He answered.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Russ.
Thank you.
Thanks for walking.
Any other discussion? He needed his exercise anyway.
Right.
Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 11, resolution necessary of levy renewal for
3.8.
or 1.8.
3.8.
3.8.
3.8, sorry. I didn't update mine.
A resolution of necessity to levy a renewal 3.8 mil tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the purpose of meeting the current expenses of the city of Greenville, Ohio pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 5705.19A, 5705.02, 5705.03B1, 5701.191, 5705.25, and declaring an emergency. This resolution declares the necessity for the renewal of a previously voted 3.8 mil tax levy for current operating expenses and shall be submitted to the qualified electors of the city of Greenville, Ohio at the primary election on Tuesday, the 6th day of May 2025. This resolution has an emergency clause.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules to give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
A resolution of necessity to levy a renewal 3.8 mil tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the purpose of meeting the current expenses of the city of Greenville, Ohio pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 5705.19A, 5705.02, 5705.03B1, 5705.191, 5705.25, and declaring an emergency. A resolution of necessity to levy a renewal 3.8 mil tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the purpose of meeting the current expenses of the city of Greenville, Ohio pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 5705.19A, 5705.02, 5705.03B1, 5705.191, 5705.25, and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
You reversed that.
Wow. Moved by Mr. Brown to adopt emergency clause. Sorry, Leon.
Sorry.
That was good, you guys.
Discussion on emergency clause. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Move to adopt the ordinance, or resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt a resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 12, authorizing safety service director to enter into contract.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Verdantis LLC for rendering and professional consulting services. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Verdantis LLC for professional consulting services in 2025.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Verdantis LLC for the rendering of professional consulting services. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Verdantis LLC for the rendering of professional consulting services.
Move to adopt this resolution.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to adopt a resolution. Discussion.
Mr. President, Ryan? Yes, sir. On attachment B, it calls out 2024 rates for a 2020, and it talks about a 2025 contract. Is that any issue of any kind?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, number 13, a resolution authorizing safety service director to enter into contract.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Jones & Henry Engineers LTD for the rendering of professional engineering consultation services for a wastewater treatment plant. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Jones & Henry Engineers for the rendering of professional engineering services for a wastewater treatment plant.
Move to suspend the rules and give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Jones & Henry Engineers LTD for the rendering of professional engineering consultation services for a wastewater treatment plant. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Jones & Henry Engineers LTD for the rendering of professional engineering consultation services for a wastewater treatment plant.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 14, a resolution authorizing filling application with ODOT for grants.
A resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Ohio Department of Transportation by the City of Greenville, Ohio for grants through the U.S. Federal Transit Administration in the State of Ohio as authorized under federal transit laws and the State of Ohio laws, executing a contract with the Ohio Department of Transportation upon project approval. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to file an application with ODOT for grants through the FTA in State of Ohio.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Ohio Department of Transportation by the City of Greenville, Ohio for grants through the U.S. Federal Transit Administration in the State of Ohio as authorized under federal transit laws and State of Ohio laws, executing a contract with the Ohio Department of Transportation upon project approval. A resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Ohio Department of Transportation by the City of Greenville, Ohio for grants through the U.S. Federal Transit Administration in the State of Ohio as authorized under federal transit laws and State of Ohio laws, executing a contract with the Ohio Department of Transportation upon project approval.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 15, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into contract with Anderson Marathon Ethanol.
A resolution authorizing the entering into of an agreement for water and wastewater services with Anderson's Marathon Ethanol LLC. This resolution authorizes the mayor to enter into contract with Anderson's Marathon Ethanol LLC to set rates at 40 cents for raw water and $3.25 for potable water for a limited term of 3 years.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the entering into an agreement for water and wastewater services with Anderson's Marathon Ethanol LLC. A resolution authorizing the entering into of an agreement for water and wastewater services with Anderson's Marathon Ethanol LLC.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt a resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 16, a resolution waive tap-in fees for Rumpke.
A resolution waiving water tap-in fees in the amount of $27,000 and no cents for Rumpke Inc. and setting water and wastewater rates. This resolution waives the water tap-in fees for Rumpke in the amount of $27,000. The rates for Rumpke will be set at 110% for water and 150% for wastewater.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
A resolution waiving water tap-in fees in the amount of $27,000 and no cents for Rumpke, setting water and wastewater rates. A resolution waiving water tap-in fees in the amount of $27,000 and no cents for Rumpke Inc. and setting water and wastewater rates.
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
Ryan, have we got the meter yet for that?
Yes,
We did get it?
it's installed.
Why are we wanting to waive it for them? Like, is that standard practice or?
No, so we had a utilities committee assignment on it. So Rumpke is outside of the city limits. They installed approximately $1.2 million worth of water and sewer lines that will be our infrastructure, that opens up more of the industrial park. And then we had them, they signed a pre-annexation agreement stating if they ever become contiguous with the city, they'll, so we thought it was fair to waive the 27 since they at 1.2.
Sure. Video, wasn't
Yeah, it was a great deal for the city.
it? Yeah, definitely.
Any other discussion on that? Call the roll.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, number 17, last one, a ordinance, temporary appropriations.
Bottle of water.
An ordinance to make temporary appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, Ohio for 2025 until not later than March 31st, 2025, and the regular appropriations ordinance for the year 2025 is passed, and after the regular annual appropriation ordinance is passed, this ordinance shall be null and void. This ordinance allows for temporary appropriations of the City of Greenville, Ohio for 2025 until not later than March 31st, 2025, and the regular appropriations ordinance for the year 2025 is passed.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance a second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules to give this ordinance second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Nope, she got to read
You
it.
gotta read it first.
Wanted to make sure you picked them.
We're doing all right time-wisely.
Do you have to get up early tomorrow?
An ordinance to make temporary appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, Ohio for 2025 until not later than March 31st, 2025, and the regular appropriations ordinance for the year 2025 is passed, and after the regular annual appropriation ordinance is passed, this ordinance shall be null and void. An ordinance to make temporary appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, Ohio for 2025 until not later than March 31st, 2025, and the regular appropriations ordinance for the year 2025 is passed, and after the regular annual appropriation ordinance is passed, this ordinance shall be null and void.
Can we do it now?
Yes.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion.
Mr. President, just one question for my own clarification. Is this kind of standard operating procedure in city government budgeting?
Yes, so this would just be, this is just an appropriation for the first quarter of the year. We have to have the budget passed. There's a deadline that we have to have the budget passed, but due to the fact that our 2025 appropriations are not passed, we have to have operating. So in order for us to have operating budget, we do have to pass the temporary appropriation, and we do it, we have done it periodically, yes. Most of the time, it's hard to get completely finished by year end so that we make sure we understand all the
It's not a
carryover.
norm, this is more of a norm than completing a budget before the end of the year. And I mean, I don't mean that in a
Yeah,
negative way.
I would say probably so,
Hey,
yes.
that's fine.
Just,
And especially in years
Yes.
like this year where the income is dramatically changed and we're really working through cuts and everything, you know, if revenue would have stuck to, on a linear path or something that was more predictable than what we got, you know, often we're able to get budgets through.
Okay, thank you.
just like to have solid numbers this year, so.
Any other discussion? Great question.
Thank you.
Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
All right, that completes our ordinances and resolutions. Under old business, we have nothing. Under new business, we have an application for handicap spot. Will you read that, please?
To Greenville City Council, I have reviewed the attached application for special parking for a handicapped person submitted by Stephen Ward on December 3rd, 2024. It is my recommendation after reviewing the application that a handicap parking sign be erected in front of the applicant's residence located at 629 Spring Street. Respectfully, Chief Benjamin.
And if there's no issue, we just take a simple motion to approve the,
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Brown to approve the, okay. Any discussion on that? Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Healy.
Yes.
All right, moving on to council representing outside committee and Dolores, council on aging.
Yay. Okay. Brandon could not be here tonight, so I asked him to prepare a report. And he mentioned, one of the things that he mentions are the hometown horse parade and lighted truck and tractor parade. He mentions that this was a success. It looked a little different this year because of the transition that we had a new director at Main Street Greenville. We had some issues with the horse parade, logistics, but he thinks that, this is his first year and he's waiting to improve upon it next year. So, and I think he did a good job considering that he was new to it and we had new leadership on that. And then they hosted their first Christmas cookie crawl. I'm not sure why they called it that, but that's just what they called it. And that was the first Saturday in December. Took place downtown. 25 of the merchants provided a large variety of cookies for the public to enjoy while they shopped. And they're planning to hold that event. 2025, they're working on developing a calendar of events. They will be releasing that shortly after the new year. They're setting up some new committees. We're following some of the guidelines that are established for Heritage Ohio. So I think we can look forward to some new things going on downtown and involving more of our merchants and getting things squared away so that we are a diverse downtown and so that we have all kinds of events for everyone. So with that, that's the report.
Hey, Doris, if I might.
Oh, sure, you might.
Serving on that board as well, I just want to make mention to the public that if anyone ever wants to volunteer and do any work whatsoever at Main Street Greenville, we're open to volunteers, right?
Amen.
Amen. So just call the Main Street Greenville office if you have a notion to volunteer, whether in the office or with events, and that's all I got to add to that.
Yeah, you can also reach out to me and I can put your name and contact
Dolores, yeah.
information on the list. So we're glad to do that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to communications.
We received the monthly reports of November from the Street Department, Income Tax Department, and the CIC minutes from September 24th, 2024.
Call of council.
Godwin.
Yeah, I'd just like to refer to the meeting we had last night with Ms. Davis and her staff. You did a tremendous job, and we're still learning. I'm still learning. And with that, I'd like to excuse the absence for this month also.
Motion to excuse the absence. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Healy.
Yes.
And I'd like to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody. And with that, I'll pass.
Norris.
All right, very good. Lieutenant Monin, since you're here, chime in at any time. What a excellent turnout for the Shop with the Cop 2 Saturday mornings ago. Just outstanding. I was able to help them out a little bit. We started before 9, ended before noon, just a little bit before noon. They served 133 kids. That is just fantastic. With the chief's help and his significant other, everything was just spot on. She had, Ms. Noble had sheets made out for all of the group leaders that went around, and we had 2 officers, or an officer and a lieutenant assigned, and took the parents and the children out in different groups, a different time assignment. It was just like a well-oiled machine. Kudos to Walmart. They gave us dedicated registers to check everybody out with. It was just like a well-oiled machine. There's they don't call him a team leader or supervisor. There was a coach out there, and his name was Danny. He had his Santa Claus uniform in the car, and we kind of coerced him a little bit and checked with the manager, went out and put Santa Claus outfit on and came back in. And for the little kids, you know, the little 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds, they were just going bananas. So we had everybody, including myself, in festive hats that was picked out by Mary, one of the dispatchers. We all had to wear those. So it was just a good time. And I tell you what, as far as the community outreach that the police department is going, this one put the icing on the cake for the end of the year and made a lot of kids happy. It affected a lot of families. So we appreciate that. So
Great job, man.
And I would like to just wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and I will pass.
Rogers?
Yeah, kudos to the cause, Shop with a Cop. I think it turned out real good. I was out there at Walmart for a short period of time, and it looked like it was really going great. And kudos to Kim and the staff last night for their meeting. I think it was well informed, and I think even though I've been on council for several years, it was informing for me too. So anyway, and for everybody else that done anything, congratulations, kudos to you. And
Got blanches it on, doesn't it?
and also Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
We are ready for
I'll
that.
pass.
Schmidt?
I would just want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, be safe, and thanks for all coming up tonight, and I'll pass.
White?
Sounding like it's getting repetitive. Thanks, everybody, for being here tonight. Great job with the Shop for a Cop. That got everything in order. Thank you to Kim and her team for last night. It was educational, it was informative, and it leads to more questions, so we'll get back together again. Want to wish everybody a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas. Done.
Brown?
Like a broken record, we'll wish everybody Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Just a thank you to everybody, from the administration to the public for coming, to the department heads, to the newspaper for being here. It's been a long year and been a good year, and hopefully we've learned enough to get us through next year. With that, I pass.
Ely?
I do want to thank Kim and her staff. There were a lot of questions in a lot of areas, and I think some of the things that were kind of running around in my head got clarified, and I appreciate that. And it was nice to see your staff, your support staff. That was really nice to have them. You do have a great staff, and so I do thank you for that. And I also just want to thank my fellow council members. I know that I'm usually not without words, so I do want to thank you for putting up with me, so thank you very much for that. And with that, I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and see you next year, same time. I'll pass.
President Baumgartner?
Yep, a few things. So it's always great to see department heads here, so I want to appreciate not just the ones that aren't here, but always here. It's nice. I think tonight we had a question on the fire department. I think water department, there was a question, I think even wastewater, and police department, I think there was some comments on that. So it's always great to have department heads here, so I appreciate that. It's hard to believe that we have 7 days before Christmas Eve. It's like caught up on us. So I'll be repetitive and to say everyone have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Brown to adjourn. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes. Did you give him
Evening, everyone.
something?